Achievement Test 1. Listening exercises 1 and 2. 1.
OK, that's the eggs and cheese. Let's go over to the vegetable section. I need some organic spinach.
Organic? That's a bit expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so, but it's healthier. They don't use pesticides and stuff.
How do you know? I think it's a rip-off, just to get people to spend more money.
I know what you mean. I've actually started growing my own veggies. I don't grow spinach or broccoli, though, so that's why I buy it here.
Oh, fair enough. Maybe I should try growing my own stuff as well.
2.
For many, many years, and you've had such a fascinating life. Are you happier than 5 years ago, do you think?
Difficult to say, really. I mean, how do you measure happiness? The way I see it is, well, life is a series of events, or not so much events, just moments, really. Every day is full of hundreds, or even thousands of separate moments, don't you think? Some are very nice, some like getting home from a long day, maybe sitting in the garden, admiring the beautiful flowers. Obviously, there are those marvellous, more momentous events that make you feel really happy, you know, a new baby in the family or getting a pay rise. And then, of course, there are the not-so-good moments, like opening your bank statement. And, of course, much, much worse things. But more importantly, talking about happiness, I think it has a lot to do with your personality, really. Having a positive attitude to life. I think I'm very lucky because I've always been quite an optimistic person. I tend to look on the bright side of things, like my dad, really. He just accepts what life brings. I mean, you know, he's really easygoing.
3.
So did you live at home then, Auntie Sue, when you were at university?
No, in those days they encouraged us to move away from home, to learn to be more independent, I suppose. I remember how excited I was to leave home. I couldn't wait to live on my own and be a real grown-up. Though, to be honest, it didn't turn out exactly as I'd hoped.
Why? What happened?
Well, some first-year students lived in college rooms on campus. They had their own rooms and everything, but I wasn't so lucky. I was put in lodgings with an old couple who didn't have any children. Basically, they were expecting me to be a surrogate daughter, I think, and spend weekends and evenings with them. It was pretty awful.
And did you spend time with them?
I did try a bit at first, but honestly, it was so boring. I ended up sleeping on friends' floors in college at weekends and had a great time, of course. Mind you, it must have hurt the old couple's feelings. I'm not very proud of that, I must say, but what could I do? I was young.
4.
At the next summit. And finally, here's our environmental correspondent, Jack Richardson, to give us the latest update on the demonstration outside Parliament this morning.
Thank you, Helen. Yes, 10,000 demonstrators have been here since the early hours in reaction to the government's proposal to build a nuclear power station on the west coast. People have come from all parts of the country, both supporters of the proposal and those environmental and anti-nuclear groups who oppose it. Supporters say it would be the answer to the country's energy problems, while opponents argue that not only will it endanger wildlife, but also destroy the local fishing industry. The Keep Nuclear Out organisation has collected 50,000 signatures and will present their petition to the Minister for the Environment at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, back to Helen in the studio.
Thanks, Jack. There'll be an update on that.
5.
All right, then, now that you've seen the flat, let's have a coffee, shall we?
Yes, I'd love one. Thanks, Mark.
So, where have you been living until now?
New York. I've just got back, 2 months ago. I was doing a job placement with Reuters, you know, the news agency.
That sounds good. I love New York.
Yeah, me too. But my visa ran out, so I had to come back. I've been staying with my parents. They're great. But to be honest, I've been having terrible culture shock since I got back to London. I just can't seem to settle down again.
Tell me about it. I felt exactly the same when I got back from my gap year. You have so many new experiences when you're away. It's really hard to adjust when you get back.
Totally. That's why I want to get my own place. I need to move on, I think.
Good thinking. Do you mind my asking how long you'd want the room for?
Oh, no, of course not. Actually, I was wondering if you'd consider a 6-month let. One of my best mates is moving down here next September and we're planning to get a flat together.
6 months would suit me fine. I'm not sure what my plans are, but I'm thinking of changing my job and working abroad again, so I think if we go with 6 months...
6.
Hi, Julie, you're back. So, how did it go?
It was wicked, Dad. Absolutely great.
Come on, sit down. I want to hear all about it. Everything.
Well, first of all, when I got to the airfield, I checked in at reception and they told me what was going to happen. Then I was introduced to the instructor. He was so nice, really relaxed and friendly, so I began to feel a bit less nervous. But when I saw the plane, I nearly ran away.
Why?
It was so small and light. It looked as if it would break up if you touched it.
But you did get in it, didn't you?
Of course I did. Anyway, then he showed me all the controls and what was what. And after that, we took off. Well, actually, he took off. That was pretty awesome. What an amazing sensation, flying up over the fields and trees and looking down at the tiny cars and people below. But I guess the most exciting bit was when I got to steer the plane on my own. Wow! I couldn't believe how easy it was, and much more fun than driving a car.
Don't tell me you want to be a pilot, then.